It was a tough night at the office for the two men who came out of the UFC 267 title fights without belts around their waists. Of course, in the main event, Jan Blachowicz's title run comes to an end. In his second attempted defense, he succumbs to a second-round submission loss to Glover Teixeira. Difficult times for Blachowicz. He did not have much effective work in this fight. He says post-fight that he perhaps fell too deep into the idea of the legendary Polish power. Well, it cost him his title on this night, and definitely a setback for Blachowicz, who many did not expect to even have the UFC title at any point in his career. So definitely it's all been icing on the cake of a huge career turnaround, but he made it pretty clear in the aftermath of this fight that he does not want to be done. He has every intention of getting back up there and trying to reclaim that belt. And I think there is some challenging matchups for him, but some winnable matchups for him as he tries to rebuild some momentum. He is obviously not going to be next for an immediate rematch. I don't think his title reign quite warrants that at this point, but I think he does have to look at another rematch that could perhaps build him some momentum. And for me, that is running it back with Thiago Santos. Leading up to this title run, Blachowicz he went on a nice streak of 8-1, and the only person to defeat him in that stretch was Santos. I think that would be a good barometer on where both guys are. If Santos could beat Blachowicz once again, coming off being the champion, I think that would do wonders for his stock in this division, as he recently snapped his losing skid against Johnny Walker. And then if Blachowicz wins, he gets to avenge a loss and then go back and try to see if he can avenge another loss to Teixeira or get a title shot if Yuri Prochazka does dethrone Teixeira. So I think there's some navigatable waters here for Blachowicz coming off a tough moment in his career. In the co-main event, I think there is less so for Cory Sandhagen. Of course, he is still one of the top bantamweights in the world after falling short of the interim title against Petr Yan, but he is not in a great place. Back-to-back losses for the first time in his career, and two major setbacks against two of the key players in this division that I think is going to put a bit of a ceiling on Sandhagen right now in terms of his title aspirations. All respect to him, he took this fight on relatively short notice as a replacement for Aljamain Sterling. It did not go the way he wanted, but he gave us an absolutely incredible fight once again. Cory Sandhagen, one of the most skilled and entertaining guys out there, so big props for that, but he's going to have to do a little rebuilding coming off this defeat. And if you look around at the fights that make sense for him or a matchup that could work for him in terms of trying to rebuild the ladder, I would look at the fight at UFC 269 on December 11th between former champion Dominic Cruz and Pedro Munoz. I think that is a matchup that would make a lot of sense for Sandhagen. Of course, a little bit of a dip down in the rankings compared to who he has been fighting recently, but two of the most established 135ers of all time. So I think that would be a logical matchup for Sandhagen. The footwork and striking in a potential fight between him and Dominic Cruz would be something I think people would be gushing over. That would be a great fight to get his name back up there, defeat a former champion if Cruz is able to beat Munoz. And then we know Munoz, if he wins that fight, is always a tough test. He never rolls over for anyone. After a couple of rough 5-round fights for Sandhagen, he's put a lot into it this year. Take some time to recover, wait and see that December fight play out, and then you are looking to get back on track with a big win after this UFC 267 interim title fight loss.